While we try to be as helpful as possible, this podcast should not be considered as professional or financial advice. It contains general information only, and you should seek out professional advice for your own personal circumstances before making any financial decisions.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Julia.
And I'm Nick.
And this is the Enthusiast Lab. News, we got invited to a client's wedding.
Yeah, holy shit. That was when I went to go check the letterbox, I was like, the fuck is this? And yeah, thank you so much to Brandon and Selena. Congratulations on the engagement. And thank you so much for inviting us to your wedding. And 100%,
we will be there.
We're there.
If we ever get invited to something, 100% we'll be there.
Oh, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
So really exciting times for those two. We built their home and they've been in it now for quite a few months.
Yeah, I think maybe 6 or 7 months
About
now.
6 or 7 months they've been in it now. So really exciting. And, they've got their newborn. They ended up doing a little burnout skid in the garage and shared it onto our community page. That was fucking sick. But congrats on everything, and hopefully the planning for your wedding goes quite smoothly. We know what that's all about. And we'll be seeing you then.
That's our feel-good vibe for the day, for the week.
That was fucking sick.
Yeah, so today's topic will be types of consultants and how we get paid. This is quite a controversial topic. Not a lot of people like us explaining this. A lot of builders and a lot of consultants are probably going to be up in arms about this.
Yes, but you know what? The more info you have about how some of these things are structured, you might completely skip this episode, or you might actually sit there and go, oh, fuck, this is actually quite interesting. It's more as the more you know type of thing. It can't hurt to know this knowledge. Again, it's general advice, but it's based on all the years that I've been in this industry, dealing with some of the largest builders in WA and some of the smallest, and how things are structured. So we're just going to get into a bit more detail about it all. So hopefully it gives you some insight into everything.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about the types of consultants first. So there really are 4 types of consultants, but before we get into consultants, the first person that you most likely are going to talk to, if you inquire onto a builder's website, Instagram, Facebook, is a lead generator. So let's talk about, what is a lead generator?
Look, even though they're a lead generator, they have all sorts of fancy fucking titles. They could be the client experience person. They could be the, motivator. Man, I've seen some wild titles for it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, all they are there for is literally to contact you, to get you to answer the phone or via email. And they basically do a very quick assessment on your situation to see if it is somewhat viable. And if it is, then they will book you in with a consultant. And basically you take it from there, then you spit yarn with that building consultant. So they allocate it to whoever they've been advised by that builder for which person to go to.
Yeah. And
so you're not actually going to build with that person that you first talk to.
They're just your first point of contact.
Yeah, that's it.
So let's talk about the first one, which is your online or in-house consultant. Let's talk about those and who they are.
So normally they're a bit more experienced consultants that have been in the industry. And the way they work is they normally work on behalf of the builder, and they actually get fed business by the builder. So like we were saying, by these lead generators, or they might be handling like Instagram like DMs, or when you go on their websites and you have the little pop-up message tab going, hey, how can I help you? You might actually be talking to a consultant. So there are different forms of how these online in-house reps get that business, and those are the ones that you basically you usually talk to them when you meet them at the office, at the building office, and they go through the whole scenario basically, and they'll structure it all for you.
Yep. And then the second type of consultant is a display home consultant. So they are different to in-house.
Yes. So the way they're different is a lot of builders Normally a lot of bigger project builders, they work with some of the developments and they build a big grand display home in certain suburbs. And what they basically do is those display homes are there to showcase the best that this builder can do. And normally that is manned basically by a display home consultant, which they basically work that space to generate any business that they can, so then they can sell, and that's how they can get some business basically. If they're not doing their own thing, they rely on that foot traffic in these estates and in these display homes to create their own business and take it from there.
And the display home's normally in a display village.
Yes, exactly.
You see house next to house next to house, all built by different builders.
100%, which is pretty wild to see that in the building industry, where you see all the competitors on the same street, building right next to each other, and they're all, basically going, we're the best, and this is why.
Yeah. And the next type of consultant is a consultant that self-generates their own business.
Correct. So this was actually something that we were quite, what we were in the beginning, which is we worked on our own Facebook page, our own Instagram page. Now you will see a lot of it, a fucking shit ton. And especially in the last probably 2 to 3 years, there is so many different fucking names like How's Your Build, homes for Kiwis, homes for Filipinos, homes for fucking everyone. And what they're doing is it's still a consultant that works for a builder, but rather than them trying to go, hey, we are the builder, or, I'll work for this builder, they're trying to separate themselves from it. And what they do is they try and target certain niches because they see some successful businesses do them. Like us. So that's the type of, that's what's called a self-generate. They generate that business themselves. So it might be through their own referral systems and, from friends and families, etc., from wherever the fuck it is. But they're not actually getting assistance from the builder with their own leads. They're doing it themselves.
So basically they're not relying on the builder or a display home to give them business. They have to source their own business.
100%.
And I do want to mention, we have worked in all 3 of these roles.
Yes.
We have been an in-house, we have done display homes, and we kind of worked from self-gen and into where we kind of are now, which is the 4th topic, which is a building broker. And just remember, guys, the first 3, they all work for a builder.
One builder.
That's
it, because they normally sign a contract that they cannot have, they cannot bring business to others, etc., and shit like that. So they normally work for one person and that's it.
Correct.
Whereas a building broker or an independent advisor, they basically work for themselves and they might liaise with, a panel of builders, might be 2, might be 5, might be 10, whatever it is, however they want to structure themselves. And what they do is there are so many different ones now. Again, when 1 or 2 start making it successful and they see they can be done, then everyone becomes this. It's monkey see, monkey do. It's like everything in fucking anything with a good idea. But how brokers tend to work normally, and which is why I actually don't like affiliating myself as being a broker, because the way I see it is a broker will assess your situation and then they will put you out to tender. And what I mean by that is they grab your needs and wants and your budget, and then they go to 2, 3, 5 different builders and they go, here's what they want, and they basically pull them against each other, which isn't the right way to do it. And then let's say 1 or 2 builders do come back. This is where there's going to be so many fucking brokers that are going to chuck a sook. I know this is what they do.
Not all,
but there are many that do. What they do is they'll grab the 2 builders and they'll assess it. And if they both come in with similar specifications, similar pricing, whoever's paying them more, because no 2 builders always pay the same. They all have different rates and offers, etc. Whoever's paying them more, they're going to go in and lean you towards that person. So even though they say they have 10 builders that they work with, you'll tend to see with a lot of brokers that they might only show you opportunities for maybe 1 or 2 or maybe 3, depending on your circumstances. So as much as they've got 10, they'll only present a few. They're very similar to like a finance broker, because finance brokers are the same thing. They don't work for one bank. They have a panel, then they work on what your situation is, and then they present the options. Same thing, but with builders.
Mm-hmm. And we don't like to be associated with the name building broker because we don't really broker you out to the companies.
I don't treat you like a piece of meat and put you out to tender. What we do is we have specific builders that work alongside us, not for us. We don't work for them. It's a mutual agreement between our builders where they specialize in specific preferences of style of homes and what they know that they can deliver on 100%. And if that client falls within that category, then that is where they go. And we explain that to a fine detail to every single of our clients, and why one floor plan may not work with that builder because it might be reserved with the other builder and vice versa. So nothing crosses over. It's not for example, if you're looking at something a bit more closer to the city, then the other builder that specializes in the outer suburbs or outer estates, they can't build in that area. So we take your situation with everything and take it to the relevant reason, and that's where you go.
Yeah, so basically having two builders, and that's all that we work with.
Yes.
And they specialize
Much.
It's too much. I'm managing the priceless of that. No, thank you. They specialize in completely different areas of building. One specializes in one thing and the other one specializes in something completely different.
Correct.
And they don't cross over. Whereas most building brokers work with multiple builders
That do the same thing.
that do the same thing.
Yes.
And that's why we don't like to be associated with the name.
No.
What do we call ourselves? I don't know. We've had
Fucking-
so many names thrown at us.
To be advised.
To be advised. I mean, if you guys can think of a name for us, shoot it our way, because the last name we had was Independent Building Specialist, IBS.
Have you had join the health class today?
So that didn't work out. That name kind of came and went very quickly.
Fucking oath it did. Jesus Christ, that was embarrassing.
But that's really where we fall
Yeah.
under as far as a company.
Yeah, because we're not just brokering it and that's it. We do so much. Where your first point of contact, we are there the entire journey. If you have any concerns, and sometimes you do, right? There might be lack of communication or something going on. You always come back to us, and that is what me as Nick and at Mr. Enthusiast is what we're known about. We get shit done. If the builder's not contacting you, we'll reel their fucking heads in. If it's the developers, if it's the broker, whatever it is, so that no matter what, you've always got someone that you can call and speed dial no matter what happens.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people that promise this shit and they never fucking deliver on that. When crunch time comes, no one's to be seen. And that's where we come in. That's where we outshine a lot of people. It's that, man, the day before I proposed to Julia, I was booking clients and answering questions. We went on the honeymoon. Clients were crying because of shit that was going wrong with some of their build. I was answering that phone, which when we were in Iceland, it was fucking 3 a.m. And it was 10 a.m. here in
My God,
Perth.
that was a groggy call.
It was a great call, but that's what we're here for.
Yep.
And that's what we're about. So to say that we fall under one specific thing, we don't. We're a bit different, but at the same time, it's what you perceive as the value of what that person does, and that's how it works.
And I think brokers, people move from self-gen into broker for three main reasons, which we've kind of briefed over, but just to summarize, it really is for a different commission
Yep.
as the broker, for different house prices for you as clients, and for different land availability, because some builders don't go to certain estates or suburbs or areas, but some other builders do. So those are the three main reasons why you move from a self-gen into a building broker.
Correct. And it's, again, to try and separate yourself from the affiliation of your work for one builder and one thing only. It gives them more opportunities for that consultant to potentially do some more things if they have the right lead source and business, plan.
To sustain themselves.
Yeah, to sustain themselves in doing something very independent like that. So it's not for everyone, that's for sure.
And a little trade secret here is you'll see that a lot of consultants like to give themselves a lot of titles, but honestly, they're all the same.
Fucking, yeah, it's just how you want to fucking paint the same picture. It's at the end of the day, you'll hear so many. You'll hear things like new home consultant, senior consultant, house and land specialist, building expert, broker expert, new home advisors. They're all the same shit. They're all there to sell you the fucking home. All right. At the end of the day, the irony of this shit, for a consultant that's just started in the industry, for them to become senior, it only takes them about 12 months in the industry. Basically, what that means is that they've actually been able to survive in this industry, which is very cutthroat and very competitive, that they've been able to survive for the last 12 to 18 months. And now they can call themselves someone senior.
Yep.
And that you're entrusting your life and your hard-earned money. There's the biggest purchase of your fucking life, and you're entrusting it to someone that's been in this industry for 12 months.
Yep. Now, that's a little trade secret that we're giving away today.
Yeah, that's a little insider thing that they're all the same. What you want to be looking at, like we said before, is the right vibe with the right person that has presented all the things that are correct and have been transparent with things. And if that's the person, then that's the person. If not, reassess.
Something I want to mention is if you are deciding to go down a building broker, I'm going to suffer with this word, due diligence.
One more time.
Due diligence.
Due diligence. Due diligence.
Bugger off. And do your research. Most of these building brokers will have their own name or have their own company name.
Yeah, they might be on Google, so look at their reviews, look at what they're all about, how long they've been in the industry, what are they trying to present, what value are they giving you or giving to their clients. And also look at things like there are some Facebook pages that are orientated around building experiences from clients directly, positive and negative. So take them with a grain of salt, but look at the overall picture with things, because you might start seeing a brokering company's name introduced there, or certain consultants or builders. And you got to think, if that broker is affiliating with some of these builders that are having bad reputations, what is that explaining about the actual broker themselves and someone that you're trying to entrust in? Are you going to go down that path? Why haven't they reassessed the values and things like that? So
I want to shout out some clients because we would love shouting out our clients. Yeah. And these are clients who have started their own Instagram building journey pages, and it's becoming quite a trend for clients 100%. To do this.
100%. It's fucking wild. I never even thought about this when we were building, and again, because we weren't really into Insta back then, but to actually see it really come together. And you've got, let's say, for example, when someone looks up us in our Instagram and shit, it's what we showcase from different clients' journeys. We've become like a whole social hub. Yep. But it's different seeing it coming from the clients themselves for them to post their own shit, and it's always unfiltered. That's the gold.
That's their version of this,
of their journey.
Yeah, we've got our version of their journey, but they've got their version of their journey.
There are three sides to every story there is, and in building it will be the consultants, the builder, and the client. And all three merged shows you the truth.
Yep. So I'm going to shout out 5 of our clients, and it's because we are super transparent with 100%. Our clients. I'm pretty sure if you wanted to talk to any one of our clients, I can give you the list.
Yep. And we'll double check with the client, make sure they're happy, and we'll give you their fucking number or email.
Give them a call,
Facebook, you can DM them. We've had that many times when we've shouted our client, and then we've had people reach out to them asking how our journey was and vice versa. We're more than happy. We have nothing to hide. Yeah. We've had some good times, we've had some bad times, but at every time we've always been there for every single person,
good and
no
bad.
matter what.
Yep.
We're not just there to celebrate the wins, we're there for the heartaches, and we're there to work together. That's what we're about.
To fix any problems 100%. That we encounter. So Troy and Kelly, they're currently at lockup stage, and their Instagram is Our Kingsford Build, all one word. We have Stuart and Sarah, they're also at lockup, and theirs is Our Home on Greenpoint Way. We have Emma and Jaden, they're also at lockup, who are Lot 582. We have Connor and Kim, who are at Settlement, so their Instagram's quite new. And I tried to find ones that are kind of in between, but it's either lockup or starting.
It's either start or end because of how quickly our bills have been able to get through. So by the time we actually got to, doing these podcasts, and by the time we're probably having the next conversation, a lot more have changed.
I tried to give you variety, but it's either lockup or settlement. So Connor and Kim, who are at Settlement, it's Our Little Home on the Crescent. And we have Elijah and Montana.
Yes.
Who are at lockup, and they are Lot 84, and that is all in letters, not numbers.
Yes.
So give them have a look at them, see what their build journey is like, because give them a like, give them a follow.
Give them a like, give them a follow, so you can actually see what it's all about. You'll see a lot of that on our own pages. We share everyone from start to mid build and everything in between. And if you see anything on our Google reviews, Facebook reviews, and everything in between, and if you do want to, every single one of those reviews are based on the client that has past built with us or currently building with us, etc. So please feel free, if there's anyone that you want to actually hear about, let us know. We'll give you all the details. As long as the client's obviously happy with it, and 9 times out of 10 they are. Go reach out to them and see if that's with us. Do the same thing with any consultant or broker or builder that you decide to go out to. Reach out to those people because they are the ones to tell you the story because you're going to be just like them.
Yep.
You're going to be one of those clients. You're not going to be the builder or the consultant to fluff things up. You want to hear the truth and the raw of how their experience was. Then those are the people to look for. So Instagram build pages are a huge one now. Reviews from builders on product review on Google, on Facebook's, on certain Facebook pages like Chunky Builders, How's Your Build Going WA. There are equivalent to those in South Australia as well.
Mm-hmm.
All these things are the things to really consider before choosing the right consultant, because that consultant should be, and remember, should be helping you the entire way.
Up until you get keys in hand.
100%.
We give it a little bit extra of a service, but we'll talk about that another time.
We'll talk about it later, but yeah, we're here to fucking send shit to the moon, and that's what we do. But a lot of others, as long as they can guide you through the entire journey, not just until it suits them and they get paid, all the way through, that's what it's all about.
And the reason why we're telling you to really do your research if you're looking at going with a building broker, see what building companies they work for. So you'll see that they normally, most of the time, they advertise their panel of builders that they work with. And the reason why we're telling you to research and select a builder broker, if you're going to go down a builder broker, again, you can always inquire just onto the builder.
Onto the builder or whatever.
But if you are looking at a building broker, make sure you are choosing the right one to inquire to because of the conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So this is another trade secret that, it's not even a secret.
It's not a trade secret. It's actually something not many people realize actually happens. So, for example, and it's because not many people are told about this. So maybe after this, people can have a bit more of a thought about what they're doing and see if they might have actually been involved in something like this. So, let's say you go to a display village, you've gone for a little bit of a trek, you've been smashed by every single fucking builder and their consultant out there, but you find one that you really like and you've done your due diligence, you've researched and you really like this builder and you've had a good yarn with this consultant and you've given some details and you've had a bit of a chit chat, called up for a meeting potentially, and then you've decided that, you were on the website and you started seeing some other plans and you flicked your details and then all of a sudden someone else reached out to you. And what happens is, and when that person starts talking to you, and if you haven't really told them you've dealt with someone else, they will start their process as well. And you might be one or two meetings in and then go all of a sudden, oh, well, I actually spoke with old mate from this display village. And then all of a sudden it becomes a conflict of interest because two different consultants from the same company have now started talking to you, and everyone's there to try and help you. But at the end of the day, every consultant is still out there to earn their own money, to be able to put food on the table. And most of the business here in residential building, it is all commission only. Some builders might have a little bit different, but it's all based on commission. So what that means is if that sale doesn't go through and the build begins, they're not getting paid for anything. So all of a sudden, they might be working 2, 3, 6 months down the track and then someone else can just come and snatch it off them. And then that guy's or girl or lady has just wasted all this time and there's nothing there for him. So that crossover is when two consultants, either one could be external and one could be internal, and they clash with the same client. That's what that is all about, the crossover. And this actually happens quite a bit with us, with Mr. Enthusiast, with our builders, because what happens is obviously we share a lot about our clients' journeys and what we do, and a lot of people see our advertising and things like that. And they'll hear that, we work with Levita or with our Progen or with some of our past builders in the past. And what happens is they'll go, oh, fuck it, that was a really cool builder. And, we want to work with Mr. Enthusiast. So they'll reach out to the builder thinking that's who does the whole scenario. And then they reach out and they have a spit yarn with them. They might end up, one of these lead generators might go, this is like hypothetical so that people can see how that process works.
Yeah.
And then they go out and catch up with this consultant and they spit yarn that. And then they go, oh yeah, blah, 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 had sent me referred to, come and build. And this guy's been, he called up a few times, and then all of a sudden that same client reaches out and sees us on socials and goes, hey, we've actually caught up with Levita or with Progen or whoever this builder is, fucking XYZ, whoever. And they go, we really like what it is. We just want to see what your thoughts are. Can you please help us out? We're looking at one of your designs. And then all of a sudden I'll sit there and be like, unfortunately, I can't, because you've actually already engaged with that builder. I can't then sit back and come in and pinch it from that person that's actually spent quite a bit of time with that. Unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with that person. If you want to reach out with us, because we are independent, reach out to us first. Then we can collaborate with whichever builder is going to be suitable that we work with, and then we can work through it that way. That way you're going through the right channels. Nothing's being missed or being like blurred lines, so to speak. You don't want to blur those lines because it gets hard. Everyone's there to try and, at the end of the day, create business as a company. And our end goal is always to ensure that the client is 100% taken care of.
I want to mention, this is more about when you're inquiring to different consultants from the same company.
Yes.
But by all means, shop around different builders. I mean, don't waste anyone's time getting them to create an entire...
If you're not even going to really consider dealing with them. But
talking to multiple builders is good because it does give you a better understanding of what that builder offers. So that is good. Just keep that in mind when it comes to internal things, like within the same company. Once you've spoken to someone within that company, you're 9 times out of 10 going to be locked in with that consultant. Because
unless shit hits the fan. Unless like you guys like do not get along and shit's pretty south, then maybe then you'll get changed. But just for a change of heart, normally doesn't work like that.
No, and we don't want to be undercutting someone. This is someone's livelihood.
Fucking no, same as us. And vice versa. Like there is a mutual respect with everyone in the industry, but at the same time, sometimes this shit does happen. And like I said, if you start going out to a couple of displays and you're seeing a couple of builders and then you've gone engaged to some of these building brokers, you might want to actually let them know, whoever you do contact, because they might also have that same builder. So then you might be getting into that blurred lines, and it can become, sometimes some people are pretty nasty, sometimes they're pretty chill. You don't know what you're going to be dealing with and you don't want to go down that path. It gets messy.
All right, guys, we had a little bit of camera issues, but we're back up. We're back up and running.
We're live and we're fucking kicking on.
So let's continue on. And it was a good cut anyway, because we are now segueing into the second part of this, which is how we get paid, really.
Yeah, how Mr. Enthusiast and the consultants in the building industry, how they actually get paid. So we're not going to talk about how much we directly get paid or anyone, because that is a breach of contract, but also it changes. What we can talk about is the timeframes on when builders normally offer payments. How,
when, and by who, really? Because that's a big question.
100%, that's a big one, because a lot of people think that they have to pay us as the consultant. So, no.
So let's talk about the first one, the 4 types of payments. And the first one is a salary and commission structure.
Yes. So quite often you'll see this type of structure in like car sales.
Yep.
So a lot of the times I'll have a very simple base salary as like a retainer, so to speak, and then it might be very heavily commission based. So that's how some builders do offer that to help with some of the startup consultants and stuff like that. They'll pay him because they'll keep him on as almost like an employee, so to speak, with that builder, and then they'll smash him with some KPIs or goals. So if you sell this home, you get X amount. If you sell a certain amount of homes, might get a little bit extra. So that's one style.
So basically salary with commission on top.
Yes.
The second type of style is percentage of a house price.
Yeah, so this one's a very interesting one. Quite a few builders actually do this, and especially what I've seen is builders that offer much more higher premium homes on a higher percentage value. We've seen that quite a few of those builders and others, that they actually offer a percentage of the house sale. So for example, if your home was 300,000, they might get a percentage of that as their total commission. And what you'll notice, and trust me, when you start thinking about this, if this just a little bit gets into your subconscious, you'll notice this when you talk to consultants. They might start upselling, and they'll upsell. If you're going to budget, all of a sudden they're going to upsell fucking hard. Upgrade this, upgrade that. Let's go for a little bit more better, finish on the home. Let's go for a slightly bigger home, this and that. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I really want this change. Yeah, let's just do it. You can do it.
You'll thank yourself
because
later.
They get a portion out of that themselves. So Look, for some it might work, but
I don't think there's any wrong
no,
type.
not really. But
This is probably the most controversial one because it's a lot of upselling rather
100%.
than your base, like you get a flat fee.
You just get a flat fee
Yeah.
or whatever it is, and that's just what it is. You take it or leave it type of thing. This is it's an open to interpretation.
Yeah.
So you might disregard some people want lower budgets and chase ones with higher budgets, so then you can get paid more. So you got to think about that.
Yep. So the third type of style is flat fee commission.
Yes. So flat fee commission is what it basically says is it's a flat fee. So basically a lot of builders might do this because it's a little bit more fair, it's a bit more secure for consultants, knowing that they don't have to be pressured into trying to sell a lot more homes. They might just go, you get X amount per home and that's what your flat commission is. And in my opinion, I reckon that's the best one, because that way it alleviates trying to upsell, trying to do any of this other bullshit. Is just if it works, you know what you're in for, just fucking move on.
There's
and get
no
to the next
pressure
one.
there's no pressure from a salary one to hit your KPIs.
Yes.
And there's no pressure to upsell. So this is the easiest one. If you sell, you get paid. If you don't, you don't. That's
Exactly
it.
it.
And
Exactly
this is
it.
the structure that we're on. We can be
Yes.
open about that. This is the structure we're on.
Yep, that was a very big thing for who I am and how we wanted to do this, because we've been through all of these, all these different structures we've mentioned so far. And for me, I felt the easiest is because I might have a client that can only do a single garage or a 4 or a 6 or a 10 or a 30. And for me, I don't give a fuck. I would rather focus on every client to know that we're doing the best we can and that we can actually get it to get built, and I can get paid and the client gets a home. And I'd rather have one fee, and then that way the builder can then work out if it's too risky for them or if it's not going, this is the flat fee we request. Regardless if we sell a small home or a big home, that's what it is. And then that way in the builder's eyes, I can go, okay, if you're averaging a lot more bigger ones, but then you might do 1 or 2 small ones, we can compensate that difference. So win some, you lose some. So I felt that was fair from the builder's point of view as well as from us. So then at least I know when it comes to our accounting and shit, it just goes all the same.
It's all the same, yeah. And it's so much easier when it comes to tax time. My God. And the last one is any of the above ones that we've mentioned, which is salary and commission, percentage of a house, or flat fee, plus incentives.
Yes. So sometimes, depending on the builders, they might pay a little bit lower in terms of a actual commission, but what they're going to do is they'll throw some incentives in there. So sometimes the biggest ones I have seen over the years, especially project builders, are like certain KPIs. So what we're talking about KPIs is they might have to sell 3 in a quarter, or not, a certain amount within a month or within 3-month period.
Within a month, a quarter, or a year.
Yeah. So one of the 3. And what they'll do is they'll throw some extra bonuses in there, or super bonus, or they might do, if you sell within a certain amount in that year, we're going to take you guys out for a Bali trip and shit like that. I've been to a few of them like I said, in the beginning of how it all structured. Again, it's one of those things. So you might also end up seeing that a lot of consultants might start pushing to try and get that extra sale, and they might get a bit more pushy, especially towards the end of financial year. That's when you really start to see them.
End of month, end of quarter, or end of
100%.
financial year. That's when you see the people who are on the incentivized commission structures.
Yeah, they start pushing a little bit more.
They're the ones that push a little bit harder.
Yes, to try and get it within that time frame that they've been delegated by the builder and by that contract that they've signed.
Yeah. And the next question is, when do we get paid?
Okay, so again, varies a lot with different builders. And like we said before, we've dealt with the biggest and the smallest, and they're all different. And depending on what business you provide, that can also change too for negotiations. On average, we're seeing that the different structures are normally, once your formal finance has been approved and settlement has occurred, you can normally get paid at that stage. That means your permits are done, everything's done, you're basically ready to go to site. The next one is slab down. That's a very common one. So once your slab is actually pulled, then the consultant can actually raise an invoice to the builder to get paid. And sometimes we've seen even like at brick stage, or like a half and half payment, half up front and then half at the end of brick stage, again, depending on cash flow, etc., for different builders.
Yeah, so guys, just keep that in mind as a reference. Most consultants, or pretty much all consultants, I should say, unless you're on a salary, you don't get paid for anywhere up to 6 months from when we initially meet you.
4 to 6 months from the moment they first walk through that door, whether it's someone independent or through that builder, and you've engaged with that client, with that builder and paid a deposit, that's when it begins. Fuck me, you can be anywhere between 4 to 6 months before they actually see any money for all the work that they do.
Yeah, so you guys are halfway through your construction at Bricks, and that's when your sales consultant is actually getting paid.
Yeah.
And up until that point, all the work that they're doing is free of charge technically.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think that will then lead on to the next part, which is about,
who pays the consultant.
Yeah, who pays the consultant? That's fucking one of those commonly asked questions that, has a lot of mixed messages. And look, I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak on behalf of most because of the businesses we've dealt with and that we know. We're quite close with quite a few
consultants,
in the industry. Now, 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, you as the buyer do not pay the consultant directly in any way. What you do is you normally pay through your purchase of the home. So every home that has a price on it has a delegation in their pricing, like in their margins from the business, so in their profit margins, that is delegated towards paying a consultant. So regardless, for example, this is a perfect example. Let's say someone tried to come to us to reach out for one of our designs, or they went to one of our partner builders. If you went to the builder, it's no different than you actually coming to us. The same delegation has been done. It's who actually helps us help you with the entire build process. That's what's going to change. That same payment is going to be there. So that is something to keep in mind about the whole fact of you're not paying for it directly. Technically you are, but you're paying through the price of the home. So if you hear a consultant or a broker or anyone ask you for a fee up front for meeting them, run. Fucking red flag, motherfucker. That is the
flag.
Fucking red flag over here. That is the biggest red flag. And I've seen someone like on Chunky Bills, I'm on everything and I like to just keep an eye on things. I'll never forget the story that there was someone that was so upset with a client and tried to charge the client for their time because the client decided not to go because shit hit the fan, and tried to chase for money and like doing under the table. I'm going to try and find that story and see what actually happened to that, because holy fuck, the balls on that person to try and ask for that money.
Yeah.
That is dog act. Please, guys, everyone listening out there, that is not the way shit actually gets done. There are some money hungry fuckers out there that all they care about is feeding their own pockets, and that is the wrong fucking shit. And you know what? Come as a fucking bitch. Over time, they will be removed from the industry.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time.
Naturally, that will happen. So just to summarize that, we are not paid by you as the consumer. We are paid by the builder.
100%.
It is. No money needs to come out of your personal bank account to pay for our time. It is paid through the price of the home, which is in the builder's...
Which is included in the price of your home that you're looking to purchase.
Correct.
In your package. It's already taken care of. You don't need to pay for anything directly. All you need to do is choose the right person, the right consultant that will help you with your process, and making sure that that's the right builder that will work with your needs and wants.
And the price of the home doesn't change based on which consultant or building broker you go with. It is all out of the builder's pocket.
100%.
So
they cover their asses in that sense. So you don't need to worry about, oh shit, if I go to someone external and they might give me something more than someone that's internal, I might save a few dollars. No, man.
It's
everyone
all
gets paid the same. If a consultant decides to drop their own commission, that is on them. That is their choice.
Different.
That is very different. But in terms of this builder is offering $250, for example, and this broker, for example, because that's when normally you start trying to, shop around. And this broker who uses that same builder is also charging $250. Well, maybe that person, is getting paid a bit more, so I'll go with this person. No, man.
Doesn't change. No, it's all out of the profit margins. And just as a quick little insider tip, profit margins for builders can range anywhere between 20 and 35.
to 30+%. So again, depends on how builders work and how they structure shit. It might be a bit different now versus how it was during the boom when everyone was, trying to fork out as much as they can. at the end of the day, a builder needs to run at a certain profit margin, and it comes down to the three main components, which we'll talk about in a later stage, in order to be able to sustain themselves and be successful and to survive in these crisis times right now with the housing crisis.
So we are covered by the builder.
100%.
So please do not pay your consultant anything.
Fuck
please
no.
do not. That
For
is
the love of God, like if there's one thing
you
taking
take away from this episode.
do not pay your fucking consultant.
And really, I think that covers everything about consultants and how we get paid.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So let's plug Instagram,
Plug.
Facebook, TikTok, website,
Google.
YouTube, and where you find your podcasts.
Yes, and Google.
Oh, and Google, sorry.
I like my Google.
Most of them are Mr. Enthusiast or Mr. Enthusiast New Homes by Nick. That is NIK.
Yes.
And
honestly, like anything that you have Mr. Enthusiast should actually plug it through now. We're pretty big on that, and like fuck, you can go on Google and type in Mr. Enthusiast and it comes up with our garage plans now on the images and shit. It's fucking sick. Or it's literally a photo, or it's a photo of my FG just doing fucking burnout.
Yeah.
So either way, it's something pretty cool.
And remember, guys, we're not here
To fuck spiders.